Here we go, yo. Here we go. Subprime time squad. Come on in. Come on in. Let's get this party started. Give y'all all a little time to come into my live before I get started on this review of Power. And yes, last night was a good episode. If you did not watch last night's episode, then spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Don't get mad. You better watch it. Watch the show. Watch the show so you can chime in with us. So you can interact with us during the lives. You can comment in the comment section. Also, on your way in, make sure you like this video. Make sure, if you are not a subscriber to my channel, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Subscribe. Show your girl some support. After you click that subscribe button, the little bell pops up, and tap the bell until you see asterisks around the bell. And that lets you know that from now on, you will receive my live notifications every time I go live. And I'll try not to make this one too long because I have two shows that's coming on tonight that I really want to watch before they get too late. I probably won't be able to watch both of them, but Love is on tonight, and the Have Nots. So I want to at least try to get one of those in before I go to sleep and pass out tonight. But tonight I'm going to go over Power episode. Feel free to interact. Feel free to comment on anything in the comment section. A lot was going on last night. In the last episode, you know that Dre, like towards the end, at the end, I think it was at the very end. Well, they had Ghost and Tasha had the funeral for Raina, you know, their daughter that was killed by Ray Ray, and Raymond Jones. He was a dirty cop. Tariq, which is Tasha's and Ghost's other child, he killed Ray Ray, but Ghost and Tommy is trying to, and Tasha, and might as well say Angela too. They're all trying to cover up the fact that the real person who killed Ray Ray was Tariq. But Ghost and Tommy got Kanan thinking that they the ones who put Ray Ray down. So Kanan has no idea that Tariq was the one who actually killed Ray Ray. Now, at the end of the last episode, Ghost and Tasha had agreed to allow their son Tariq to do the eulogy for their daughter Raina's funeral. And while he was in the process of doing that at the funeral service, he ran out pretending to be fake crying, or pretending to be crying, but he was faking. And he ran out and he ran into the bathroom and locked himself in the stall. And he texted basically ghosting them enemy. I don't know why he texted Dre, like I said in the last episode. I don't understand what the stronghold is that Dre has over Tariq. I really, really think I'm going to step out on a limb and say again that I think Tariq is possibly trying to play Dre and trying to keep him close. Not too close, but close just enough so Dre possibly might think that Tariq is still, you know, to be trusted. I'll just put it that way. Like I said, I'm gonna step out on a limb, and I hope I'm right, because Tariq, he basically, I mean, he helped drag it away from getting murdered by his father Ghost, and his godfather Tommy, which is Ghost's best friend. So at the end of the episode last week, when Ghost and them sent their guys to kill Dre, basically it didn't work out as planned because Tyreek had ran out of the funeral service, pretended to be crying, locked himself up in the bathroom, text Dre, run. Dre gets the text messages, and when he realized what's going on, he ends up killing the guys that initially came to kill him. So he was able to get away. So at the after the funeral service, Ghost, he's at the burial site of his daughter Raina. You know, they just had her services, just lowered her body in the ground, and Dre sneaks up on him and puts a card in his pocket. And he basically tells him, you know what? You came for me once, but if you come for me again, the Jimenez cartel is going to kill you and they're going to come after the rest of your family. So Ghost, you know, in any other situation, you know, Ghost would have handled that. He would have tried to put him down, but he was trying to be respectful. They're mourning. They're at their daughter's gravesite. He don't want no blood to be shed at his daughter's gravesite. So Ghost, you know, he sucked it up, and you know, he's like, you know what, I handle this another day. So then they show Tasha. Tasha is really, really, really having a hard time. Um, it seems like she's having the hardest time over the death of Raina, their daughter, her and Ghost's daughter. Um, she's seen crying and holding on to her picture, and you know, on the floor in her bedroom, and she's just crying and mourning. And Tyreek, her son, walks in and he's like, "Ma, are you okay?" And she just stood up and kind of like seemed kind of angry there for a second, like she was about to lash out on Tyreek because you know, Ghost blames Tyreek for his daughter's death, for Raina's death, but Ghost also blames Tasha because he thinks Tyreek should have been more supervised, even though he wasn't supervising any of his children. He was mainly supervising the streets and the drugs and his businesses and his club and you know all that. So he puts the blame on Tasha, and I think Tasha, you know, she's dealing with it the hardest, and she's going to need some time. I really feel bad for her because ain't nothing like losing your child, and especially to some violence like she lost her to. So she tells Tariq, you know what, I'm fine, just go back to bed. And Tommy, he ends up coming over um because he's meeting up with Ghost, and he happens to see Lakeisha in the kitchen cooking. And he's coming in there. Now you keep in mind, y'all remember in the beginning of the show, the very beginning of the show, period. Him and Keisha had hooked up and they were hanging out and everything, even though Keisha had feelings for Tommy. Tommy was just kind of using her. At least that's the way it seemed. So anyway, he comes in the kitchen and he sees Keisha cooking, and you can just tell from his demeanor and the sound of his voice. He's like, "Hey, Keisha, it smells good up in here." Then he see them slapjacks, them pancakes, and he's like, is them pancakes with the bananas in them? You know, the way I like them? And she's like, yeah, you know, they got bananas in them. But anyway, so he's reminiscing, you know, with Keisha, and you know, they both, you know, sad and distraught over Raina, you know, being murdered. And he's like, you know, that's real nice of you to come over here and, you know, cook and all that. And she's like, well, that's the least that I can do. You know, that's my girl. You know, I think they like possibly best friends. I know they real close. And Tommy, he's sitting there reminiscing about, you know, how when the twins, because, you know, Tariq and Raina, they are twins. And he was like, I was there for their birth. And, you know, he's feeling all bad because he's like, you know, Ghost gave me the job of being godfather, and I basically let them down. I let the whole family down. I should have been there. I was supposed to take care of them. I was supposed to protect them, you know. And basically, he feels like he let everybody down. And Keisha, she's mainly focused on the fact of what really happened. She's still trying to find out what really happened because she don't know. She don't have no clue. And Tasha already trying to keep her in the dark. Tasha, after everything that happened, after Tariq killed Ray Ray for killing Raina, his twin sister, um, Tasha, she went over Keisha house and she was like, Keisha, I need you to do me a big favor. Just do me a big favor. And she's like, anything, girlfriend, anything, what's up? And she's like, just say that me and Tariq was at your house all night. And Keisha's like, why? What's going on? Is something wrong? Tell me what's going on. And Tasha's like, I can't tell you. Just, nobody's probably even going to ask. But just in case they do ask, don't say anything. Just tell them we was at your house all night. So she's trying to get more information from Tommy, and Tommy, he's doing her just like Tasha. Keisha, you don't want to know anything. If you don't know anything, then you can't say anything. And you can't get in trouble for anything. Now, my thing is, Keisha, all of a sudden you want to know the exact details of everything, but you've been letting Tasha now launder money through your hair salon for years. And if you allow them running drug money in your hair salon and you're not too concerned about that, I mean, yeah, she did put up a little fight, with Tasha, I don't want to get in trouble. This is illegal. This is my beauty shop. I can get in trouble. But she ended up still letting them do it. And as far as I know, they're probably still laundering money through her shop. I'm not sure because they haven't hit on the shop yet, or discussed anything about the shop this season yet. But my thing is, if you're gonna let them launder money and you're not gonna say nothing, same goes in this situation. Keep your mouth shut and you might stay out of trouble. But then when she's like, Ghost comes in and he's, trying to get Tommy to get up out of there because they got stuff to do. And Tommy is like on his way out. Bye, Keisha. Like, I think I have a feeling. Mark my words, y'all. Mark my words. I think Tommy and Keisha is going to end up hooking back up together. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing, but I know Keisha probably still has feelings for him. And Tommy, he probably just miss all that cooking and things, if you know what I'm saying. And so Tasha, now she ends up meeting up with Angela. Angela, which is the head of criminal, she got promoted. Her and Ghost was messing around for a while, and right now they're not messing around right now at this point. But Tasha is using her to help her try to cover up the fact that her son Tariq killed Ray Ray. Now Tasha and her are sitting at a restaurant, and basically she's asking her, I done everything I can. I done did all the damage control I can, but I need to know. And she slides her a phone, and she slides her a phone, and she says, I got my number programming here. I got a phone number got a phone just like this one. What I need from you to do, because I did everything that I can do, you need to find out if anybody else knows or can connect Tyreek to Ray Ray's murder. And Ray Ray, which is Raymond Jones. And Tasha's like, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else can connect them to. And Angela's like, you know what? You need to find out. Because if anybody can connect Tyreek to Ray Ray's murder, then we all going down. So all the damage control that she done, basically, it wasn't even worth it. And then we have 50. Well, I say 50. Kanan. Ooh, I love me some 50. I know I done said that already, but okay. Where was I? Fifth Kanan. Kanan and Tommy and Ghost. They all meet up, and Tommy is basically upset. He's going off, yelling at Kanan, and Kanan's like, hold up, bro. simmer down, simmer down. You need to watch your tone, watch your tone. And he's like, just tell me what happened. You know what went wrong. And 50 Kanan is like, I don't know what happened. I sent my guys after Dre, like we planned, but somebody tipped him off and he got away. Little do they know, the person that tipped them off is right in a circle. It was Tyreek. When he ran off, during the funeral, when he ran and locked himself up in the bathroom and hit up Dre and texted him and said, run. So Kanan is like, you know what? It probably was them Italians. He's thinking it's the Italians and everything. And Tommy is like, you know what? I don't know if it was the Italians, but Kanan is like, afterwards I came outside and I found I think is it a tarot card? I don't know what kind of cards they is, but some kind of cards, you know, okay, I ain't never been to prison, but I've seen some prison shows and some prison movies. And sometimes in these prison shows, they like people who either killed somebody, um, for whatever reason, they sometimes left a card on the murdered person in prison. And so I don't know what the name of the cards is, but they left one on his windshield. Tommy said, no, Ghost said, well, somebody gave me a card and it was Dre, and he put it right in my pocket. And Tommy was like, yeah, somebody left me a card too. And Tommy's like, well, why didn't you kill Dre? If he was close enough to you where you could get a card put in your pocket, why didn't you kill him? And he tried to explain, what I was at my daughter's, graveside. I'm not about to shed no blood, bust nobody, on my daughter's graveside. Wow, that would just be disrespectful. And I have to give it up to Ghost, because Ghost will put a cap in you in 2.5 seconds, for sometimes barely a reason. And so he was like, you know what? We'll handle that later. And so then while they up there talking and stuff, Jason, Nishet pulls up, and mind you, uh, the beginning of last season, Tommy has set it up with Jason to basically help him secure the port, the LA port. He didn't tell Ghost, so Ghost has no idea about this. So Jason pulls up, and they burning rubber pulling up, and Ghost and them, they pulling out all their guns because they're like, what the heck is going on? And Tommy realizes who is with. He's like, no, put your guns down, put your guns down. That's Jason, what? And they was like, who is that? And so he jumps out the car, and he starts going off on Tommy. He realizes he's with Ghost, and he's mad because Tommy, he never told Ghost what was going on. He also didn't tell Jason that he was still hanging with Ghost, because Jason, the only reason that he was messing with him because he didn't want, Tommy promised him that he would not be dealing with Ghost anymore. So he lied to Jason, and he also didn't, well, I can't say he lied to Ghost. He just didn't reveal that important piece of information. And so Jason, he's mad and he's upset because the deal went bad. His guys that went to the port to, collect shipment, they got gunned down. So he's like, you know what? You owe me $2 million now. But he's like, I'm so pissed. I don't know if I want the money. I don't know if I want you dead. And so then Tommy starts begging, please, 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 please. I'll get you your money. I'll get you your $2 million. He's like, just don't kill us. And so he was like, I'm going to get the port like I promised. And Jason was like, you going to kill the Jimenez? Tommy, without even thinking, yes, I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them. I promise. So Jason's like, oh, okay, all right. Well, let me tell you this. First of all, you're going to take care of this situation. And since you couldn't stop hanging around Ghost, Ghost is going to help you with this situation. And Ghost is standing there like, hold up, I ain't got nothing to do with whatever y'all got going on. Then he like, and who the heck is this? Looking at 50. I'm like, Everybody, when they run across 50, I'm like, okay, 50 was in prison for Kanan. My bad. Kanan was in prison for a couple of years. And he gets out, and it's like nobody knew him. And Kanan was, running things before he went to prison. But now, don't nobody know him. At least they acting like they don't know him. So he's like, oh, I'm just an old friend. Jason's like, okay, well, Ghost, you and y'all old friend, y'all all can take care of this situation. I want my $2 million back. And then he's like, okay, we got this. So Jason and them, they get out, they leave, and Ghost is tripping. Why'd you tell him, we would help? And he's like, well, what the heck was I supposed to do? They was going to kill us. So he had to say something. He had to get out of it some way. So, he's going to try to get him his money and try to handle the Jimenez brothers. And Kanan, he's up there, you know what? We got this. We can do this. Even though we need a connection, we know we need somebody on the inside. They got Dre on the inside, and Ghost is like, hold up, okay, this is not the Lobos, this is not Milan. Other cartels or other organizations they have dealt with in the past. He's like, this is the Jimenez cartel. How are we gonna get in here? How's we gonna do this? How's we gonna kill them? We don't know nobody on the inside. And I keep want to call him 50. Kanan is like, you know what? We'll use Dre. We'll just follow Dre, and we'll have him lead us to the Jimenez, so then they can kill him and get the $2 million and whatnot. And so Tommy is like, okay, that's a beautiful idea. And then, while we doing all that, we can kill Dre too. And I'll make it a clean kill. Tommy like, Ghost, you down, bro? You down? What choice do I have? He's like, what choice do I have? And so then we got Dre. I don't get this part. I don't get this part. Okay, now Dre's boss, Diego. What is up with him sharing his women with his workers? When he walked in, when Dre walked in to Diego, he was having a threesome. And Dre was like, you know what? All right, I see you busy. I see you busy. Let me just, pass. Let me just get out of here, and you can handle your business. And he was like, no, stay. He made him stay and watch. And Dre's standing there like, oh God, why is he doing this to me? And I'm like, hold up now. I guess Diego ain't heard about the Me Too movement. Because in a real organization, this would not be appropriate. It's not appropriate now. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Diego gets off because later in the episode, he basically makes Dre have sex with one of the girls. I think it was the black girl, and have sex. He's like, okay, now it's my turn to watch. I'm like, is this like something he just gets off on, like watching swapping? I don't know. But anyway, I can't believe Dre, as hardcore as he's supposed to be, that he's allowing this man to use him like that. So, Dre, I don't trust Diego at all. And so Dre, he gets upset because, his workers got killed. And Dre is like, you know what? I'm going to make up for the money that you lost in the raid. And he's like, yeah, you better go ahead and handle that. And also, try to get control of those clubs, those international clubs as well. And Dre's like, okay, whatever. When he told him that, I think he's really getting kind of frustrated about, being underneath Diego. And Diego is basically treating him like, he's at the very bottom of the totem pole, even though he's doing like all this work out here. And now back to Angela. Angela, okay, her counterparts, her co-workers, what's their name? John Mack. I think it's pronounced Make. I think the guy is Oriental or Asian. I'm not sure what he is, but and Cooper Sachs, they're discussing Maria Suarez. Now, remember Maria Suarez, she is the girlfriend of the guy who Ghost murdered. Remember when Truth, which is Ghost Club, when it opened and they had kidnapped Maria and her boyfriend and took them to the club, to Truth. And Ghost tied up Maria, blindfolded her, and killed her boyfriend. And he was whispering in her ear and basically telling her, don't say nothing. You weren't here. You didn't see nothing. And I don't have to kill you. But anyway, as you saw in the first episode of this season, she went straight to the cops, filing charges, telling them everything she can remember because she had heard Ghost speaking on TV and she recognized that voice. It must have sent chills down her spine or something because she ran up to the police department. This is the man that killed my boyfriend, James St. Patrick's. He's the one who killed my boyfriend, and he is Ghost. And last episode, they were trying to debate, Sax versus John Mack. They were both going back and forth. How's we going to prove a jury? How's we going to prove in court that this girl absolutely can pinpoint Ghost as being James St. Patrick when she was blindfolded and she's only going by his voice. So now this episode, they got the translators just finished going over Maria's witness statement and, trying to figure out everything about her boyfriend Miguel and who murdered him. And she was saying in her witness statement that, they were forced in the trunk, but she was kind of describing, the roads and the streets and the noises in the background, because they were in a trunk. So the detectives, they're like, you know what? That sounds like she's giving us the directions or the route to Truth. And if it was the lady Maria was like, you know what? We heard music. It sounded like a party. It was really loud. And they was like, hold up. That's the first night that Truth opened. And so John is like, come on now. Really? You think Ghost would be crazy enough to kill somebody at his club at the night of his grand opening? Little do they know he is that crazy. But they don't know that. And so they were like, you know what? There's a loading dock. Truth has a loading dock. Maria said that when they got there, when they got out and they walked in and they met up with Ghost, they couldn't hear anything. So they must have been, back by the loading dock or whatnot. And they thinking, that's where Ghost, gunned him down. And so John, he's upset. He's like, you know what? I done wasted all my time on I done wasted all these hours investigating this crime, and you're gonna waste everything on a chick that was blindfolded and put her in front of a witness jury. So Sax is thinking, she's credible. I think that she can, prove to be very credible in front of a jury. And if we get Ghost and we prove that he's James St. Patrick, and we prove that he killed Alvarez and Miguel, then we can prove that he's a deadly kingpin, But he actually called him a dirtbag. But I'm not going to use dirtbag. Basically, he's a murderer and he's crazy, and he is a kingpin, a drug lord. That's what I'm just going to call him, a drug lord. So then the black cop, he was like, you know what? I don't know what part he play in right now. I gotta go back and watch a few episodes to remember what part he play in. But basically, Sax is, he's telling all them, if we can prove all this, basically we can also jeopardize Angela's career at the same time, because Angela, although Angela has her goods and bads. She has her goods and bads. Like right now, she's trying to protect their family, protect Tyreek and everything, because basically Tasha says she owes her for destroying their family, for sleeping with her husband. And so, She's trying to get back in good graces with Tasha, but she also trying to save her own butt as well because she also will incriminate herself because she knows Ghost. She had a relationship with Ghost, and the police department been trying to figure out who this man, James St. Patrick, is this entire time. So basically, Angela is looking out for herself as well, but she's still assisting Tasha. So, I'm on her side right now. Now, like I said last episode, Angela, you need to watch your back because Tamika then basically told them to keep all this away from Angela because they trying to mess up her career and she got a position to head criminal, so they're trying to bump her out that position, and I think John is trying to take over that position. And so you know what, there's like, okay, cool, Tamika don't want us to say anything, and so the black cop, he was like, I forgot his name, but he was like, okay, so that's why you wanted me to keep all this from Angela, and they're like, yeah, and keep your mouth shut because Tamika don't want none of us saying anything about it, and she don't want Angela to realize what's going on because she has no boundaries when it comes to James and Egan, which is Tommy Egan, and so then John Max says the only person who knows the true extent of James St. Patrick's guilt, if they could talk to that person, then that would be a witness of a lifetime. And I'm trying to figure out, put in the comments if you know who they're referring to, because I'm trying to figure out who is they talking about. I cannot figure this out. I'm like, who would make the perfect witness of a lifetime? Who would testify? Who would testify against Ghost? And I don't know. I can't figure it out. I'm a little lost on that. So help me out here if y'all know who they might be referring to. Oh, I hear you, Monica. You said I'm cracking you up right now. Girl, nice to check in. I'm glad you're checking in and watch the video. But so then okay, now this Lorenz Tate, his sexy butt, he's in here and he has his actual real last name in this show, but he's Councilman Tate. And he basically meets up with Ghost and he's trying to show him the fundraiser information and showing him, the steps that they're going to take to get all the sponsors, to get all the donators so they could get this building up. And basically, it's in honor of Ghost's daughter, Raina. Now, last episode, I was like, this man, Tate, is up to something. I love you, Tate, but you up to something. Still trying to figure out what it is, but I know it ain't no good. Like most councilmen are no good. And so he's telling him, you know what, we need to hit a 15 million mark. And Ghost is like, dang, that's a lot of money. How you gonna figure? How you figure we gonna? What do I need to do to help? Because I don't know how you're gonna reach that amount of money. And he basically tells him the only thing that he can do to help is put a reward out so they can help the police find out who murdered Raina. And Ghost is like, oh man, here we go again. Listen, the detectives, the police, they is working on that. I don't want to put a reward up. And Tate is like, well, if we basically right now, the way you looking, you're supposed to be this clean, scot-free, clean person, and all of a sudden your daughter gets murdered. He was like, that don't look good to the investors. So you got to do something. And so he's like, you know what? I'm gonna have to, it's out of my hands. The investigators are working on it. And Tate basically tells him, you know what? I think you need to talk Tasha into having a press conference. Have a press conference. We can raise some money, raise a reward. And that way, we can get more money and have people open, more checkbooks. And basically, he's being all slick about it. He's being all smooth. And Ghost, you is too smart for this. I mean, how you gonna let him out hustle you? always say you cannot out hustle a true hustler. So I don't know how you let him out hustle you, but he got you wrapped around his little finger and making you do exactly what he wants you to do. And this to him, he don't really care about your daughter. And if he wouldn't even be honoring your daughter if you didn't basically say that to Tasha to try to, get Tasha to agree with it before, because Raina wasn't even supposed to be getting honored in this fundraiser thing. So I don't know. I still don't know what Tate is up to, but hopefully we find out real soon. But um Ghost, you need to stay woke, bro. Stay woke. And so then later Tommy, he gets rolled up on by Sammy. Sammy is like, you know what? I gotta holler at you. We need to take a ride. We need to go. Tommy's like, I got somewhere I gotta be. He don't want to take a ride with Sammy for whatever reason. And he's like, no, you need to go with me. So he takes him to the back of this mechanic shop and he takes him to a guy that's basically bleeding to death. And Tommy realizes it's Carmine who he been trying to reach. Now, Carmine is one of the dudes that Tommy has sent to kill Dre. But Dre was tipped off by Tariq. And so Carmine got shot. The other guy, I can't remember the other guy's name, but the other guy got killed. Carmine got shot. And so Carmine is trying to tell Tommy, you know what, you got to tell Vincent because Vincent is like their boss. And he's like, you got to tell Vincent, what happened. You got to explain to him that such and such, he was killed because, you hired us. You wanted us to do this job for you. And Tommy, he walks around behind Carmine and he takes out his pistol. And Sammy's like, hold up, hold up, hold up. No, 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 no. You can't do that. This is not how we get down. Tommy wanted to just end that right there because he knew that if it gets back to Vincent, then Tommy is going to be in hot water. But Sammy's like, nope, this is not the way we do this. You messed up. They got killed. These are Vince's men. You got to go about it the right way. So basically, he asked Carmine, what happened? What really happened? And he told him, somebody dropped the dime on him. Dre was strapped up and Dre, went at them when they was trying to kill Dre. And so now the other guy, I can't remember his name, but the other guy that Tommy hired to kill Dre, he's dead. So Tommy is like, you know what? We got to go. Let's try to go find get him some medical attention. So they leave, and I'm sure they probably told him that he'd be right back. But basically, Tommy has to go. He got some explaining to do. He got some explaining to do to Vincent. Um, Ghost. Now, Ghost, for some reason, okay, I know he's very upset about Raina's death, but he's not showing it too well. And I don't know if that's a man thing or, because of his position, he has to not show any weakness. I mean, he did break down in the shower scene. Y'all remember the shower scene when he broke down in the shower, but I haven't seen him look like he's grieving or anything since that period. But he's sweating Tasha, asking her where the heck she went this morning. She talking about she's running errands. She's talking about where is you going? He's talking about I'm running errands. Basically, Tasha was with Angela that morning, trying to work on a way to make sure Tyreek is clean and nothing goes back, nothing gets connected to their family. And so she's like, you know what, we need to talk about Tariq. He's like, well, you know what, we need to talk about Rashad Tate because Rashad Tate thinks that we needs to go ahead and we needs to do this press conference and we need to offer up a reward and for information on Raina's killer. And she's like, heck no, we're not doing that because any kind of information could jeopardize our son Tyreek and connect him to Ray Ray's murder. And so she's like, there's no way we're doing it. We're not doing it. And she said, as a matter of fact, you need to find out who else might know that Tyreek and Ray Ray, was connected. And so Dre is like, well, you know what? Ghost is like, you know what? I think the only person that really knows that is Dre. And he said, but he's going to find out. And back to Tariq and back to Dre. When he gave Dre the word to run, I'm still trying to connect the dots on that, but like I said, I'm going to still stand out on that limb and say that he is trying to keep Dre close to him because I think he wants to murder him himself. So if I'm wrong about this, when we find out the truth, I will admit I'm wrong. But she's like, you know what? Holler at Kanan, find out if there's anybody else who knows the connection between Tyreek and Ray Ray, and let me know. So he's like, okay, I'll holler at him, whatever. I'll holler at Kanan and find out if he knows anything. And so Tasha's like, you know what? I think I still want to send Tyreek away to Choate. And I guess this is some expensive border school, or I don't know if it's an all boys or Catholic school. I don't know what it is, but I know it's some school where Tasha wants to send him. She wants him out of the city, out of the way, because she wants him away from Kanan, because it's all because of Kanan that Tyreek met Ray Ray and that Tyreek met Dre. And so now Tommy, he comes back with Sammy, and they come back with the doctor for Carmine. But when they walk in, the doctor, like, he took like one look at him, grabbed his wrist, checked the pulse, touched him around his neck, tried to feel a pulse, couldn't feel no pulse on the wrist, no pulse on the neck. He's like, he dead. And then what got me, he was like, but I told you, regardless if he's dead or alive, I want my money. He didn't show he didn't show no sensitivity at all. He held his hand out. They gave him his money and he bounced. And so then you saw where they showed Ghost and Tommy, and no, it was, who was it? Ghost? Yeah, Ghost and Tommy. They see Dre, and they see them like at a distance. They was like sitting back in the cut. And Ghost sees Dre and Diego Jimenez, and they was, being all chummy and whatnot. And Ghost, he's like, you know what? I want to kill them now. Kanan's like, nope, we can't because we need Dre. Now, as bad as Ghost wants to kill Dre, they do need Dre. But 50 Cent, Kanan, he has his own agenda with trying to keep Dre alive to lead them to the Menace brother. Because as you heard later in the episode, Kanan, he's going to stab somebody in the back. And we'll get back to that in a minute. And so Kanan is like talking about Tariq, to Ghost, talking about him like, you know what? He gangster. Basically, he made from the same cloth. Apple don't fall too far from the tree. And Ghost is like, I don't want this for him. I don't want this for Tyreek. And that's why I think he decides, later to tell Tasha, you know what, let's do it. Let's send our boy out of town, send him to Choke. But he's also, nervous for his son because he's also doesn't really want him out of his sight. But, he's going to agree to send him to Choke. Now, when Tasha gets back home and she sees Dre, he's in his bedroom playing video games, and she interrupts him like, you need to talk. I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you, Tyreek. And my thing is, okay, my children have done a lot less and been punished a lot worse. I mean, why isn't Tyreek punished? Okay, you've been living a life of crime. It's partially, not all his fault, but partially because of him that his sister is dead. But he playing video games, listen to music, headphones, got his cell phone, and I'm like, dang, he don't get no kind of punishment. I'm like, is that okay? Is that how drug dealers handle their kids? Because if that was my son, he wouldn't be playing no video games. He wouldn't be doing none of that ish. I probably would have already sent his butt up the stream somewhere to some school out of town. No girls, no media, no internet, no nothing. But so Tasha, she comes back home, and she also tells Ghost, Ghost, I'm really having a hard time with Raina's murder. Uh, I really think that we should seek counseling. And our pastor, they actually have a grief counseling class. And Ghost is like, oh no, I'm nope, that ain't for me. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. And he also tells her that he found out from Kanan that David Struthers might also be able to connect uh Tyreek to Ray Ray. And so, but Tasha ends up, basically after, a little pushing, she ends up getting him to agree to go to counseling. And when he walks out, she hits up Angela and she tells Angela the name of the person who the Struthers guy, and gave him that information, gave Angela that information. So Angela's looking up the information at her desk, at work, and she's like, what kind of connection? Dude, she's seeing the bad rap on the Struthers, and she's like, what kind of connection? How does Tyreek know him? And so then she realizes, that he's dead. So then basically, Tasha recommends that they go to the counseling session. She texts Angela, and then Ghost and Tasha, they at the counseling session, the grief session at church. And Ghost don't want to be there. Tasha, she's trying to hold it all in. They're listening to another couple talk about how their son was murdered. Actually, it was vehicular homicide, and the guy who killed their son, he's still walking. He's still out there. He killed their son. The husband is describing to a T basically what the man looked like, because he talking about, I've been following him, I want him dead, and is it wrong that I want him dead? And Ghost is sitting there like, he's, for some reason, I didn't realize it at that time, but for some reason he's taking all this information in. I mean, he's really like, didn't want to be there at first, and now he's all, paying attention to this guy talking about, the murder of his son. And the guy is explaining, where the man works, what kind of uniform he wears, which liquor store he goes to, how he's always drinking, and any moment now he's probably going to kill another kid. And so Ghost, he taking that all in, and then when the pastor says, do anybody else got something to say or want to split. Tasha's about to say something, and Ghost grabs her hand and he kind of like pushes her down, and so she gets upset. So when they leave, he's dropping Tasha off, and she's getting upset, and she's going off on him and cussing him out, talking about she needs this counseling, and he's gonna tell her, you know what, this ain't the place. We don't need to be telling these people all our business and whatnot. But okay, you want her to have this press conference and put a reward out for Raina's murderer, even though y'all already know who killed Raina, knowing that this could come back and, connect Tyreek to Ray Ray. So I don't see the difference here. Goes, let the girl get some counseling. She needs some counseling. She's grieving. She's not taking this too well. And so Ghost is like, you know what? He calls Tate after that. He's like, you know what? She's not ready. She's not going for it. And he says basically Tate, well, his smooth scheming, but he's gonna tell him, well, just tell her that we're just going to discuss the fundraiser and discuss, how the funds is going to help the youth, and I think it's called the QCP organization. But anyway, some of the money that they're raising is going to go towards the youth program as well, and also a building that's supposed to be honoring their daughter. And so that's what he tells them. So Ghost is like, okay, cool, I'll tell her this information. So what happens is they go to the fundraiser, and they both get ambushed. They both walk in there, and you see all these news reporters, all these cameras, lights, flashes, action, and everything. And Tasha realizes she's been ambushed. Ghost realizes that she's been ambushed, but Tasha's so angry, she just goes in anyway and just, goes on telling them about her daughter, how she didn't deserve to die, how she was such a beautiful, sweet person, blah, 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 blah. Afterwards, she goes off on Ghost like it's his fault. He goes off on Tate, and Tate is like, calm down, it's all going to work out, it's all going to work out. I'm still trying to figure out what the heck Tate got going on. And, trying to figure out the angle that he's going. That like I titled this video, like what really is your motive, Tate? But I'm sure, like I said, we're going to figure it out really soon. And so Angela and Tasha meet up again, and I think that's over for drinks. And Tasha's told her about the information about Struthers. Angela tells her that Struthers is dead, and also that Brains and Big Country, they were killed in a robbery ring that connects to Struthers. And she's asking, and it connects to Ray Ray also. And she's asking, was Tyreek involved in this as well? And she's looking at her like she don't believe her. And Tasha's like, no, no. Tyreek would have nothing to do with that. And so Angela's like, well, as long as Tyreek doesn't have anything to do with that and he don't get implicated in those robberies, we should be okay. And so Tasha again says, you know what? We're going to send Tyreek, out of town, send him to Choate School. And Angela's like, cool. Why is Ghost still trying to contact Angela? He done called her twice now, and he's leaving her voice messages saying, we need to talk, you need to call me back. I'm trying to figure out if Angela is not contacting him because she knows they have a history, they have a past. They really shouldn't be even in the same room with each other, anywhere near each other, because of the fact that they had an affair, and then his daughter passed, and that would just be a bad look altogether. Then on top of that, she's helping Tasha, and Ghost has no idea that she's helping Tasha. So I think Angela kind of feels like she's in the middle right now, and she don't want to make any wrong moves. But I think Ghost is going to get back in her good graces, and I think they're going to start having an affair again. Mark my words. Mark my words. Now, it was a lot of stuff that went on in this episode. I mean, gosh, it was a lot that went on from Tommy basically getting in trouble over all these murders. And then he owed this man $2 million. He done got Kanan caught up in it. He done got Ghost caught up in it. And then on top of that, we have at the end of the episode, Ghost is so upset that Angela won't answer his phone calls that he starts drinking, and he's like, you know what? It just automatically comes back to him about at the grief session when the other man and the wife was talking about their son who had got murdered by this man named Jeff, who be at Gavin liquor store, and he wears such and such uniform, and they say he's always at this store, always buying liquor. And Ghost, why he roll up on the liquor store, and lo and behold, Jeff, here he comes walking out, same description that the family had gave. He's walking out the liquor store. Goes, he gets out the car, and he's like, you know what? Is you the dude who killed that boy? You was drinking and driving, and you killed that boy. And he was like, yeah. He was like, do you even know the boy's name? No, I don't know the boy's name. Automatically, Ghost pulls out this knife, and he starts stabbing this man like no tomorrow, and basically put his butt down on the ground so he won't be killing anybody else. So he did the family a favor, because that man did want him dead. Now I hope that this doesn't have a bad reaction, and the family of the boy who was killed, the ones who said in the grief counseling that he wants that man dead, and was he wrong for wanting him dead? I hope this doesn't go back on him. That would be awful. That would be awful. So I hope the cops don't come looking for him and they like, oh, I heard that you said you wanted him dead. You wish he was dead and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, let me know what y'all think about this episode. It was so much going on. I tried to hit on a lot of different things without going into absolutely everything that happened. I try to hit on the most major plots in this episode, or the major scenes in this episode, the most exciting scenes in this episode. Let me know what y'all think about this episode. Let me know what y'all think about the cast members, or if you have any thoughts on what's going to happen next, or why who did what. You know how it goes. And also, don't forget to let me know if there's any other shows that I should be reviewing. And of course, on your way out, please make sure you like this video. If you are not already a subscriber, make sure you subscribe to this video. Just click the subscribe button. After you click the button, a bell will pop up, and hit the bell until you see asterisks around the bell. And when you see the asterisks, you'll know that you from now on will receive all of my live notifications when I go live on YouTube. And until we meet again, as usual, stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out.